If you're feeling a little sluggish as we kick off the new year, then you're in the right place. In this video, we've compiled some seriously inspiring speeches from Sadhguru. From how to overcome feelings of laziness and find motivation, to understanding the deeper aspects of life and whether or not being humble is good for you. Sadhguru covers it all in this video. He also talks about how to find inner peace and pain's role in our lives. So if you're ready to start the new year off on the right foot and make significant changes in your life, watch this video from beginning to end.
See, the nature of life is such… Please sit down, it's okay. If you go outside in the garden and try to catch an ant, the BHU ant, who is born here, who's grown up here and probably he'll die here, that BHU ant, if you try to catch him, he'll say, okay, to hell with my life, okay, crush me if you want. Is it so? He'll do everything to protect himself. He values his life, isn't it? Very much or no? Tiny little creature that we may not even notice, we may step on him without even seeing him, unfortunately. But he values his life immensely. Does he or no? He's got spark. But you, a human being, at least on this planet, you're the peak of evolution. Physiologically at least. Yes? If other behavioral aspects, if we may have questions but physiologically at least, the most evolved creature on the planet. What the most evolved creature on the planet means is, it has the most complex neurological system and it has the highest level of cerebral capability. That means you can think, you can remember, you have memory. You have a very vivid sense of memory and a fantastic sense of imagination. An ant doesn't have such a vivid sense of memory, nor does he have any great imagination. He has some. But he has a presence of mind about the life that he is living. Because the education systems that you're going through right from kindergarten level is such that it is about everything except you. It's about everything else. Somebody is PhD in tourism, somebody is PhD in biotechnology, somebody is PhD in something. Nothing about this. How does this function? There is no attention at all. A human being functions. You know, you have a Kalabhairava temple here. What this means is, a human being exists in three times. He lives because of the richness of his memory. How rich is your memory determines what you will do and what you will not do right now, isn't it so? So memory is important, the present experience is important, and how vivid is your imagination for tomorrow is very important. Right now the problem is, these things have all gotten mixed up because discipline of faculty has simply not come. Nothing has been taught to our children that there needs to be… Discipline means people think English kind of discipline, walking like this like idiots. Discipline of faculty is not there. Because of this, your own mind turns against you. What happened 10 years ago, you still suffer? Hello? What may happen day after tomorrow, you already suffer? Because there's no discipline of faculty. You don't know how to use your memory, you don't know how to use your imagination. Your memory makes you suffer, your imagination makes you suffer, and you think you're suffering your life. You are not suffering your life, you're only suffering the two greatest faculties of being human, vivid sense of memory and a fantastic sense of imagination, isn't it so? If you suffer the greatest faculties that you have, what can we do with you? If you suffer a ailment, understandable. If you suffer a disability, understandable. If you suffer your ability, hopeless case. Yes or no? You're suffering your capabilities. If you're suffering your disability, it's all right. You're suffering your capabilities. I must tell you this, about 4–5 months ago, I think, you might have seen it on the news, a young lady, 34-year-old lady, who was a television anchor in Hyderabad, jumped off the 5th floor window, killed herself, left a note, "Nobody is responsible for my death, my brain is my enemy." How many million years it took to get this brain to this size, and now it becomes your enemy? She articulated this, but this is true with almost 90% of the human beings. They are suffering their own intelligence, isn't it? If you take away half their brain, if you take away half their brain, they will be peaceful. Yes. And that is why a whole bunch of idiots are going about saying that the ultimate goal of life is peace of mind. Such people will only rest in peace. Now you, young man, university life, if somebody is not keying you up all the time, it could become too easy, you know. Even I remember, when I went to the university, most of the time we were in the canteen or in the garden. The easiest part of my life was university. I think, I know nobody's going to like it but I think this university time must be shortened unless somebody is producing something brilliant. They must be chucked out within 3 to 4 years' time, everybody. If they're doing something very focused and very intense, they must stay. Otherwise, see, this is all I'm telling all of you young people. Do whatever the hell you want in your life, but you must be intensely focused on something. If you're not investing in anything, your life, it will just go waste. Because as I told you in the very beginning, one basic ingredient of your life is time, and this is just going away. Already you're 2 hours closer to your grave since I came here. Yes or no? 2 hours closer to Manikarnika. Yes or no? Yes, you are not immortal, it's just a limited amount of time. Are you a precious life, I'm asking? Is your life precious to you? Yes. Then you must decide where you want to invest this life. If this is precious, if this is worthless, throw it somewhere. If this is precious, invest in something worthwhile, isn't it? So if you invest this in something worthwhile, not spark, you will be a flame all the time.
There are no right things to do in life. If you choose something and put everything that you have into it, it'll become a great thing. Is it the right thing? Is it the best thing? When you say, is it the right thing, what you're asking is it the best thing to do in life? There is no best thing to do in life. Anything that you take up and if you put your heart and soul into it, it becomes a great thing. Is it the best thing? No. Then what is the best thing? There is no such thing. There's really no such thing. You're just a piece of life. And today you're here, one day you'll be poop, gone. You are a brief life, you're a brief life. I want you to just imagine, you've seen those insects which come when it rains, you know, ants which fly. Suppose you are that. You just came alive, poop, poop, and poof, gone. That's what you are. Just compared to the span of your life, the insect's life is looking so meaningless and poop, poop, poop and gone. That's what the rivers are thinking about you. Poop, poop, poop and gone. Compared to their lifespan, you are just like that insect or less than that insect, isn't it so? You don't know what the insect is thinking, but at least you, I want you to think and see, it's a bloody brief life. So are you doing the right thing? I don't know, sir. All I know is this needs to be done, and those who do it with all that they have will find fulfillment. I am not somebody who ever debated, is this the right thing to do in my life? What was needed, I jumped into it. If you're a constipated life, you will always be thinking about what to do, what not to do, what to do, what not to do, what is my passion, what is not my passion. Why the hell are you not passionate about everything? Why are you not passionate about everything in the existence? You're only passionate about one thing means what? You're constipated, that's what it means. Idiots do things that they don't like to do, suffer for their whole life because they think it's needed or they think it's their duty. Intelligent people do what they love to do, they enjoy their life to some extent. But a genius learns to do what is needed joyfully. That's when your genius flowers, because it's no more about you. Now there's a limitless way of looking at life. So, every aspect of this rally or many other things we have done, I don't even have to tell people that this must happen, this must happen, this must happen. A few things, yes. Rest of it, I just make it up in my mind and I know it must happen and it will happen. Not because I am exercising my will over the world, because I am just fulfilling the will of the world, that's all.
Now the question is, if I am not extrovert, will I be able to do things in the world? That's a main aspect of the question. See, your ability to do things is not because you want to do things. I want to do something is my desire. Desire is just an intention. An intention won't make things happen. An intention will only set direction. Still you have to make the journey, isn't it? Now, one important thing, especially because you're artist, you're not in business program or something like that, I think you should look at life like this. You must see how to enhance this one. Enhance this one means not blow up your ego in a big way. Enhance the life that you are. When I say life, I'm talking about the life that you are. I'm not talking about your body, I'm not talking about the structure of your mind, I'm not talking about… See, when people say life, you are supposed to decipher. They could be talking about their home, they could be talking about their relationship, they could be talking about their car or their dog or something. My life means something. I am not talking about that, I am talking about the life that you are. Are you alive? Are you really alive? Or just a bundle of thoughts, emotions, ideas, prejudices, opinions? Most people are just this. Because of that, we make conclusions, this is an introvert, this is an extrovert. Because without conclusion, you can't have a thought. You need conclusions and conclusions and conclusions about everything. Now I need to conclude, this is introvert, this is extrovert. Otherwise my thought every time freaks, okay, who the hell is she? But human faculties are such, I don't have to conclude, I can just look. This moment how she is, that's all that matters. Yesterday how she was, doesn't matter, isn't it? And tomorrow how she's going to be, you have no clue. Yes or no? Do not fix life, either yours or anybody else's. Do not fix it, because what you're calling as human life is a possibility. To make this possibility into your reality, you have to travel a distance. Do you have the courage and the commitment to travel the distance? That's all the question is. It doesn't matter what is your level of intelligence, what is your level of capability, introvert, extrovert, this, that, doesn't matter. Do you have the courage and commitment to make the possibility into your reality? That's all the question is. So, if you focus, whatever you're doing right now, it doesn't matter what it is. How simple an act you're doing right now, it doesn't matter. If you're absolutely devoted to that you're doing right now, depending upon various aspects, things will unfold. But because of Western influences, we've become too goal-oriented. Goal-oriented means we are interested in the consequence, but we are not interested in the process. If you are not interested in the process, you should not be an artist. Yes. Process is an end in itself. If you are absolutely devoted to the process, depending upon various aspects, something will come out. But now we are interested in the consequence, not in the process. This goal-orientedness, I want to get there, I want to get there. Where the hell do you want to get? No, I want to win the race. See, if you treat life as a race, if you have to win it, you have to get to the finish line soon, isn't it? You want to? Hello? If you get to the finish line ahead of all these people, you won the race. You know what the finish line is? We'll be negotiating where to bury you. So, particularly being in creative arts, don't ever think of a goal. What should I become? How should I be? What should I create? Don't worry about these things. If you're devoted to the process, something will come out. Something more beautiful than you imagined will happen because you're devoted to the process. Without devotion, I'm specifically using the word devotion because people think devotion means going to the temple, church or mosque. No, without devotion, either in sport, art, music, spirituality, politics, business, anything, any arena of life, has anybody done anything truly significant without being absolutely devoted to what they're doing? Have they? No, mediocre things you can do. So do not think of art and aesthetics as a way to earn a living. Living will happen. Living will happen. This is what I'm promising people of all professions, no matter what, especially if you're an artist. If you have problem with bread, you come to me. I will make sure you have a roof and a bread. Only thing I want to see is, you're focused on something, I don't care what. Nothing came out of your focus, I don't care. But I want to see you focused on something. I can't stand unfocused people, that's all. I'm making an open-ended offer. Anybody who's worrying about bread, you just come to me. I'll make sure you eat for the rest of your life and you have a place to stay. But I want to see you at least 12 hours a day focused on something, whatever the damn thing is. I won't ask you what you're focused on, but I want to see you focused. Because if a human being stays focused on something, inevitably it'll yield. How can it not yield? The universe will yield to you if you're focused.
There is no need to be humble or there is a need to be arrogant. Now that you're asking me this question, let me tell you. My daughter traveled with me, alone with me in the car, when she was 3.5 months old. I drove all over the country with this little baby in the car. So she grew up in many people's homes. I made one rule, because everybody, this is a problem with adults, when they see a child, they pounce on them like predatory animals, they want to teach something. It is such a everybody wants to teach 1, 2, 3, 4 or A, B, C, D or Mary had a little lamb. I said, see, I don't want her to know ABC, 1, 2, 3, nor do I care whether Mary had a lamb or not. So nobody… one rule is you can play with her, nobody is going to teach her anything. So she grew up happy. By the time she's 18 months, she was fluently speaking 3 languages because nobody taught her anything, she's listening She is not chanting Mary had a little lamb. No rhymes, no language, no mathematics, simply life.
I thought I'll never send her to school, but only reason was because, her age group is important. So, she went to school and when she was around 12 years of age, she came home one day, little disturbed about what happened in the school. Then she said, "You're teaching everybody so many things, you're not teaching me anything." I said, "See, I'm not known to do things unsolicited. Now that you've come, let's see. See, this is all you have to know. Never look down on anybody, never look up to anybody." Then she looked at me like this, "What about you?" kind of thing. I said, "Not even me. If you look up to me, you will completely miss who I am. If you look up to me, probably you'll make a picture and nail me to your wall, but you will miss the whole point of who I am. You must look at me as I am, not looking up. Never look up to anybody, never look down on anybody. This looks very simple, but try it and see. In your mind, you've decided what is good, what is bad, what is high, what is low, what is virtue, what is sin, what is filth, what is wealth, everything. Everything is already determined. Once you've done this, there is no way. You cannot look up at something or look down on something. What you think is bad, you will look down. What you think is good, you will look up. If you remove this and just learn to look at life for what it is, you will effortlessly navigate through your life, effortlessly. Right now, this is the problem. You are looking up to some people, looking down on some people and trying to be humble with them. There's no need to be humble. Treat everybody as rough as you treat yourself. That is, if you're treating yourself rough. If you are pandering to yourself, try with others, then you'll get tired, then you'll treat them rough anyway. Yes. So, this is simple. I'm telling you the same thing what I told her. It worked miraculously for her. Never look up to anybody, never look down at anybody. Just see everything the way it is. This is the fundamental of this culture. If you go to the temple, what do? Hi, what do? If you ever go to the temple, what do? Namaskaram. You see a man, what do? Namaskaram. You see a woman, what do? Namaskaram. You see a tree, what do? Namaskaram. You see a rock, what do? Namaskaram. A cow, snake, donkey, monkey, everybody namaskaram. Because fundamentally this is what it means. This is called vairagya. Vairagya does not mean giving up your life and going somewhere. There's nowhere to go unless you go with that guy, outer space, they're going to send you out with a one-way ticket, I believe. Otherwise, where is there to go? Wherever you go, it's still life, isn't it? So, vairagya means this, literally means, vairagya means beyond color. That means you become transparent. If you're transparent, every dimension of life can pass through you, but leaves you untouched. You can handle life to the extent you wish. What you can handle, you handle. What you cannot handle, you don't. But in your life, if you do not do what you cannot do, that's not an issue. But if you do not do what you can do, you're a disaster. The moment you think something is good, something is bad, somebody is high, somebody is low, many things that you can do, you will not do in your life simply because you think it's bad, simply because you think it's low or high or whatever nonsense. So in our lives, this is what is most important because it's a brief life. It's a limited amount of time for the human potential to flower. In this life, here if you're choosing what to do and what not to do, no, everything that you can do must happen. What you cannot do, it doesn't happen, it's okay. The question is, do you want to allow yourself to be fully shattered? That's a question. And many things that don't work out in your early life, you will see later on, it is a great blessing. There are many ways to look at this. Let me tell you this. This happened in 1941. This is just when the Nazi movement was building up in Germany and in some parts of Europe. So one day in Austria, A bunch of German soldiers came, broke into the homes, the Jewish family, a rich family, they broke the home and took away the adults, everything was robbed. And these two children, a 12-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy were taken away. They were taken to a railway station. Everybody got in and the little boy and the girl also got in, but the little boy forgot to wear his shoes. He left his shoes outside and they pushed him into the wagon. So without shoes he came. His sister, a 12-year-old girl, saw her kid brother coming without shoes and she got mad with him. She held him by the ear, boxed his ears, scolded him nicely, slapped him. Say, "You idiot, already we are in enough trouble. Now you come without shoes." Because in Germany in winter, no shoes means you may lose your feet. So she's angry about that. In the next station, the boys and girls were separated. After 4 years, after the war was over, she came out of the concentration camp to find 17 members of her family, including her little brother, all had vanished. No records, no sign of them, they just evaporated. At that time, the only thing that bothered her was the last few things that she said to her little brother. She loves her brother, but the last few things that she said to him were such terrible things, it rang in her mind and troubled her. So she took a vow, if I speak to anybody in my life, I will speak in such a way, if this is my last word, I will not regret. This one thing transformed her life in such a way. She went on to United States, she died in 2006. She did some phenomenal work, built a hospital somewhere near Chicago, I think. She lived a fruitful life. I'm saying, even if you're put through the most horrible situations, either you can come out using that experience as a better human being, or you can use the experience to become a horrible mess. So whenever something hurts you, there are two options. You can either become wounded or you can become wise. This is the choice. The more things hurt you early on in your life, the wiser you should have become, isn't it? But unfortunately, most people become wounded. This is simply because they just need an excuse to turn their own intelligence against themselves, that's all. Especially if the world around you turns against you, is it not very, very important that your intelligence stands up for you?
You cannot be as peaceful as a cow. Try as hard as you want. People have tried. Excessive eating, intoxicants, excessive indulgence in pleasures. With all these things, they have tried to create some kind of peacefulness within themselves. You thought you got there, but next moment you know you're not there. Any number of times it's deceived you, isn't it? One Saturday evening, your whole family met, all of you had a wonderful dinner, you thought this is the height of the world. Everything is so wonderful, magical. Tomorrow morning you see, not because there is something wrong with your family. It is just that with limited entity, you're trying to create an unlimited space. It's not going to work. Nothing wrong, it's just that it doesn't work. There are lots of great things in the world which don't work. I'm not interested in them, that's all. I'm not interested in great things, I'm only interested in things that work. There are lots of great things. People claim they're great things, but they don't work, they have not worked for anybody. They're great things because somebody says so. They're great things because somebody thinks too much of himself and whatever he says or does must be great things, but they don't work. We are looking for something that works. If you are determining the nature of your experience right now, 100%, let's say, we'll assume that, if you are, then would somebody have to tell you, please create a pleasant experience? Would somebody have to tell you? No. So somebody telling you be loving, be blissful is all bullshit. Because nobody needs to tell you be pleasant. The problem is you're unable to determine the nature of your experience for whatever reasons. If you could determine the nature of your experience, nobody has to tell you, be blissful, be loving, be happy, be this. This is all coming from patchy ideas about life. You see somebody fighting, you say be loving. You see somebody unhappy, you say blissful. It's most insulting. When somebody is in a great state of unhappiness, going and telling be blissful is most insulting, isn't it? But these are all the great teachings on this planet, which have been on for centuries. These are all great things that have never worked. So, we are only seeing how to determine the nature of your experience. If you take charge of what causes experience within you, I'm 100% sure you will make it very pleasant for yourself. And I'm also sure, if you are feeling very pleasant within yourself, you would be naturally pleasant to everybody around yourself. Unfortunately, people have taken it upon themselves to confuse the humanity so badly about their own nature. It's very simple, it doesn't take any damn scripture or a guru to tell you this. It's very simple. Whatever the nature of your experience, it's happening within you. You don't need some great yoga or a scripture or a guru or a stone that falls from heaven to tell you this. If the nature of your experience, whatever is the nature of your experience, whether it's fear, anger, love, hatred, ecstasy, agony, everything is happening from within you, it would be very natural for human beings to look and see how to make it into a most pleasant experience, isn't it? If you had not freaked them, God loves you from up there. If you had not exported love to heaven, lot of human beings would have been very loving human beings. But now we have exported it out there, you have to import it. For importing it, you need permit. And there are agents here who don't give those permits so easily. It's not coming across because all the love has gone to heaven. How to get it now? Here there's a priest standing here with a permit. He won't give it to you. Whether you want to experience blissfulness, whether you want to experience love, whether you want to experience ecstasy, whatever states of pleasantness human beings have known have come from within them. There is no need to apply for any permit from anywhere. You just have to become willing to explore what this is, to bring this to the most pleasant state. Not because it's a virtue. Love is not a virtue. Bliss is not a virtue. To be pleasant is not a virtue. It's just that that is the way you long to be, isn't it? It is not that if you're loving, you'll go to heaven. It is not that if you're ecstatic, you'll go to heaven. It is just that if you're loving and ecstatic, you don't need a damn heaven. People who've made a hell out of themselves want to go to heaven. People who've made a heaven out of themselves, where do they want to go? Wherever the hell they go, they don't care. If you want to ensure that the sounds that this one produces is good, the more you know about this whole mechanism, the better sound you produce, isn't it so? Sometimes by chance it may happen, but the more you know about it, the better it is. If you are a sound engineer, you produce good sound. So if you are an inner engineer, then you make this the way you want. That's all it takes. It doesn't need anything. It is just that because it's in a different direction, then the way you're constantly looking through your sense perception, you need help, maybe. You need a certain amount of help, but that's all. Grace is just that help, that it creates a conducive atmosphere to slip in. If any machinery has to perform well, you need lubricants. It's the lubricant which is keeping it going. All this great machinery, without that little bit of that thin film of lubricant, it's all destroyed in no time. Grace is just that little lubricant so that things happen smoothly. This takes little engineering. Grace is just a lubricant. Without the lubricant, if you try to work, the friction, just the friction of life has destroyed too many human beings, isn't it? Nothing big they did, all they did was simple things. They were born which was not their doing, they didn't do such a big thing, that just happened. They just want to eat well, sleep well, fulfill their basic needs, this is all they want to do. In the process of doing this, how many human beings are broken and bitter and destroyed? Because no lubricant, nothing wrong with them. They're trying to work their engines without a lubricant, that's all it is. This is a far more sophisticated instrument than anything that you have seen. This needs a little bit of attention. If you pay attention, it pays off.
Make this year another chance to continue being the best version of yourself. Your New Year's resolution should not just serve as a promise, but also a drive for you to flourish in life. Click on the video shown to see more from us. Then, share your thoughts in the comments section. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.